Elevation Nation. Wow, this is a episode that I have been waiting for a long time to record. I met this elevator. We actually rekindled after so many years. Met him a couple months ago. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time. Massimo Austin, the founder, or should I say, the CEO of Allaway. We go way back. Camp IHC, shout out. It is such a pleasure and an honor to have you join Elevation Nation. Welcome, Massi.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here, very privileged to be here, and a huge fan of what the two of you have built.
The feeling is mutual, Massi. I don't just say this lightly. Parker got off his call with you the other day, dude, and he was like, Sam, bro, listen to me. This company is sick. You know, my dream since I was a kid was to run a camp. I really think that this is a match made in heaven. You're going to love this guy, Massi. Like, he's the best. So pressure's on to deliver. That's all I'm saying. The pressure's on. Parker's obsessed with you and your company, and I'm excited to get to know you and learn a little bit about you and what you're doing at Allaway. But before we begin, Parker and I obviously know a little bit about you, Massi. Let's kind of give Elevation Nation a bit of background on you. Give us your quick elevator pitch on you and also the company as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Massimo, Massi for short. I am the CEO and co-founder of Allaway Events. So we are a full service event management company. So we really focus on working with clients who are looking to bring their communities to places maybe that are off the beaten path. So think of camps, ranches, boutique hotels. And we have an amazing list of clients that we work with that are really just looking to do something that's cutting edge, new and exciting. You're probably wondering, I'm originally from Ireland, so you're probably wondering how on earth did you get involved in this? I had the pleasure of working seasonally for an amazing summer camp called Camp IHC, and I worked as a camp counselor. And is there, I think Parker and I briefly crossed paths. And it was also there where I kind of got experience working events, and I met my two wonderful co-founders, Joel and Lauren Rakowski. So it was in the wake of COVID, we really said, I think we have something amazing here. I think we should go for it, and we did. So we started this amazing events company, and a year or two on, we're working with big clients now like Forbes and Bombas and the Farmer's Dog, and yeah, hopefully putting on future events for Elevation Nation as well. So yeah.
Oh, baby. Getting excited. That's amazing. It's just incredible. I mean, first of all, Camp IHC, Joel, Lauren, everyone over there, just amazing people, amazing community. We'll get a little bit more into that in a bit. But let's take a step away from like Allaway and camp. What about Massi when you were growing up in Ireland? Like, what was the future for you? Like, what were you thinking in your head? Like, was United States, moving to DC, starting a company ever in the picture?
No, it truthfully wasn't. I think I was, I went to university and I studied corporate law. So I think I was, it's kind of one of those moments where you go through secondary school or high school as it is right now. And there's almost this path. You have to choose what you want to do at 18. And you're like, God Almighty, what am I going to do? And where am I going to go? So, I chose law because I had like fundamentals of accounting and stuff, and I did corporate law. And so I just, that kind of path found me, and I was in it. And I think I was profoundly aware during it that I was not going to be a lawyer. And I think I was kind of appreciative of that fact, but I was I tried to absorb as much as I could in there. So I did legal French, so I learned French, I did accounting fundamentals, everything like that. I just tried to, I was like, I'm in it now, I may as well. I couldn't afford to do another course. So I was like, this is it. And then every summer I would kind of go across to the US and I'd work for a summer camp, and I would love life and work with kids and meet amazing people. And it was kind of towards the end of that the opportunity arose to me. And I don't think it's not like I'm a event fanatic. Do you know what I mean? I just really like building something. I enjoy business. I enjoy working with people. I enjoy meeting new people. And I think it was just a thirst for life, and I think this is what really kind of fulfilled it for me, and I went for it. But I really have to say I did not know I would end up here. I think it was either destined to be or it found me, but I'm incredibly grateful I am here.
I want to get Parker's take on this because there's something special about camp that I want you both as lifelong campers to try to bring to life to really kind of set the picture for why at camps and why in these events it's different. There's something in the air there. I don't know if Parker, you want to attempt to take a stab at it, but there's something different about when you're at a camp or at an event, right?
Dude, it is such a special experience, and I'm so grateful that my parents saw the importance and value in summer camp for me to go there as a camper, but then also as a counselor. I mean, think about our day-to-day every day now. We are technology's everywhere, right? We use our phone every single second of every day. I live in New York City, for example. There's just so much happening. And something that I always found was beautiful about camp was that it takes all of that and flips it on its head. And you're allowed to take away. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
You froze, but I was letting you finish.
Okay. It's still recording on my end. So
That's why I was like, maybe you'll finish. Okay.
Okay.
All
if
good.
I freeze, I'm still recording. But camp just flips that on its head. You're in this community of people, and you're able to just experience life in a whole new way, and almost like the real natural way life is supposed to be experienced. You take the technology out and think about the relationships and the ability to really allow yourself to be yourself and do things and have an experience with other people and activities, and just that's why camp's amazing. It's because it brings together people and totally flips everything on its head. And the bonds are incredible. The relationships you have from the people with camp, as a counselor, you meet people like Massi who come from other parts of the world, all just to have a good time and to enjoy what life has to offer.
Absolutely. And I think also with I think we all, like Joe, Lauren, and myself, and Maddie, and a number of others, kind of saw the synergy between people who want to do events and also the wonder that camp has to offer. Like, I think if you can go to a place that's exclusively yours, that it's no one else is there but you, the conversations around the campfire or on your way to go canoeing or kayaking or the accomplishment of going to the top of the rock wall, it is the perfect place to kind of work on a company culture. It's the perfect place to bring a group of people that have never met before to experience a place and a venue and meet each other on a deeper level that's just like the surface level. Because I think there's so much escaping, just like Parker mentioned, there's so much escaping you can do, whether it's your phone and technology, or it's at a traditional event and it's a hotel room. It's really just the perfect place to like foster amazing relationships.
I think there's, something that we've tried to teach here at Elevation Nation that's very difficult to teach, but we try every single episode, and it's something we call mental fortitude, Massi. And it's knowing who you are, yourself, your vision of where you want to go, and your fuel, what drives you. And I think one of the things that naturally teaches mental fortitude that I think probably all of us can agree on is playing sports, right? I grew up playing sports. I know Parker did as well. Massi, I assume you probably did too.
Yeah.
Sports and the camaraderie and the challenges that you face as a team, I think really help drive mental fortitude. The other prime example that I can think of is camp. Camp drives mental fortitude. You're outside of your comfort zone. There's not someone that's too cool or not cool enough. Everyone's doing color wars together. Everybody's climbing. Everyone's canoeing. Everyone's cleaning up after themselves. It builds that mental fortitude. And I think what Parker and I have tried to do is shed story, shed light, break mental fortitude down into pieces, into exercises so folks can do it, because I do think it's important for young adults, but it's hard to recreate virtually. It's hard to recreate not in these special, unique moments. And I think camp is one of those places where you can really foster mental fortitude.
Absolutely. And I think people just need to be together. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think you have remote work and people people just want to be together, and I think that was kind of fundamentally clear to everybody after the pandemic. It was like just this rush to like even meet friends outdoors in the park. It was like madness. I think everyone was sick of like Zoom trivias and Zoom parties. Everyone just wanted to like, how awful were they? You just want to meet people in person, and yeah, you can use Zoom for work, but it's like people crave that feeling of meeting someone in person, being able to read their facial expressions directly and the way they carry themselves and get to know each other on a different level. So I think yeah, I completely agree with you.
And it's not even just like that community building aspect that is so imperative, and why I appreciate what you guys are doing so much with Allaway, Massi, is like, for example, I work remote still. I am often traveling for work if I'm on site, but you know, I think in terms of helping people like me grow in my role, the best way to do it is you have to be together with leaders, with other people in my position to hear and watch and learn. And what you guys are doing is you're creating that unique environment for a company to come out, bring those leaders, bring those people that are going to be the next leaders within that company, and show them the way, and maybe show them the way in a new, maybe they're not talking about balance sheets or, memos or whatever. They're now talking about how we're going to build this fire or whatever. And now they're learning leadership styles and organizational skills and drive, and to Sam's point, mental fortitude in a completely new way. And although the events are temporary, they come back and now they have this completely new bond together. And those people are both inspired to then go continue to build and elevate whatever it is they're doing at that company. So I just respect what you guys are doing, because it just makes so much more it's so much sense, and the world needs it more than ever, I think, now.
And I'm going to speak for Parker, because I know he's not going to say it yet, but he is looking for this dream job, Massi, of working for you guys, because Parker has been saying for the past 4 years of Elevation Nation, we got to figure out how to make a camp. And so I'll send you his resume. We'll go through that later. But
hey, it's pretty public as they come, right? I got a podcast with 280 episodes. You check out the LinkedIn.
Color Wars champ too, I believe, right, Parker? I don't think that's on
didn't
there.
win Color War, but I did win Rope Burn. Big deal. So
That's what it was,
that,
I'm sorry.
That is a big resume booster, I have to say.
There you go. There you go.
I love it.
We would. I think it's an exciting prospect where you think you have, even because that's often the premise for a lot of events, where you have a community that people know of each other. People know a surface level, a LinkedIn page, a company bio, but they don't actually know people. And truthfully, I would love to get to know you both more, but in order to do that, we have to meet in person at some stage. And I think that will go for all elevators, but an event allows the space for that. I think you can also set the tone for your culture, and there's just so many opportunities. And I think people and companies are waking up to it, because of, it's quite easy to quit a job now. If you're remote and sometimes you don't have the emotional ties or the buy-in that you need, and you're like, right, I'm going to quit for a month and then peace out. And it's like, it's hard to retain your employees. So I think people have been using this as kind of fodder and a place for retention, but also just to work on their company culture. We work with some amazing companies that have the most incredible, I'll give Bombas a shout out, or Gooder sunglasses. They have the wackiest events that you can possibly imagine. And they do like a golf outing every month, and all their people who like model their sunglasses are all their employees, no outside models, nothing like that, no frills, just like an amazing company culture, an amazing place to work. But they do that, and they do it through, they have an in-person office and some remote, but they also do these events where they bring people together, and the magic happens, I would say.
That's awesome. I mean, the magic happens when you bring actual people together, and, the true elevating, I have to throw that in, obviously, happens when people get together. Sam and I have always said that. Massi, I'm curious, I want to hear more of an example, an actual maybe event that you guys did with a company, and maybe talk through an example where you're like, wow, we've built something here. What was that moment like for you?
I think I think I think it was not easy. I think it's still not easy. Like it is the most unforgiving, like paralyzing, combative. Like to own and run a business. It is not easy. And I think you watch The Wolf of Wall Street and you want to say hoorah, but it's not like that every day. And it's not, there's some days where you're just like, what are we doing wrong here? What direction are we in? And I think it's an absolute grind, but I think slowly and surely with consistency, I think we'll get there. I think one of the kind of most profound memories in kind of in recent times would be the kind of first company retreat we really ran and hosted, and for me at least was, it was a company called On Deck, and I think they're pretty popular now, but they're accelerator fund for startups. Um, and it was just after the pandemic, so people were terrified. We had to do a whole COVID testing protocols. We did lab tests, PCRs. It was a ton of international employees. It was so many logistics. It was our first event. It was madness, and we were ducks out of water. And it. You look back and you laugh now, but we pulled it off, and it was amazing. But you're jumping around afterwards, thinking, "What have we got here? I think we've got something good. Let's try and build something." I'm sure you've shared the kind of same experience as well of Elevation Nation, where you kind of meet some people or you meet other founders or anything, and you're just invigorated and excited. And I think that kind of sped us through. But I think one of the most exciting ones actually happened this past year. We kind of Paul Mitchell, a hair care company. I'm not sure if you're familiar. Sam, you have lovely hair, so maybe you are. They they're a hair care company, and they do these big Vegas trade shows where they bring in hundreds of people, and they've been in Vegas for years, and we thought they would never leave, but we pitched them and said, why not go somewhere different? Why not go somewhere completely in the woods? Bring the kind of top stylists from across the country. Bring your leadership, and they did it. They brought to our venue in northeastern PA. They brought 120 of their top stylists. So all the salons along the East Coast, from Miami all the way up to Boston, they brought their style, and then they brought in their leadership. And usually they do events of 500-600, but they condensed it down, and they gave all these stylists like really kind of intimate experience with their leadership, and did like incredible workshops and theory and practice. It was incredible. And because of the success of that, they're now like, okay, Massi and then Allaway, we want you to plan an event for us at a ranch. We have a ranch in California, so we're going to do a California event and an East Coast event. And it's something that it's like they saw the power in it. They took away the Vegas frills and just went with it. So I think that was kind of a moment where it was like, okay, it was really rewarding, and it was like we got our kind of company mission across. People bought into it, and it was a success. And I think that is a high, but then you go through and you're like, God, what am I doing again? And how do I find the next Paul Mitchell? And the grind
Ebbs and
continues.
flows. That's entrepreneurship. And I think Paul Mitchell and some of these other companies that maybe are more startup-esque are a little bit more on the cutting edge of what our generation like and what resonates with us. And I think the businesses that are hiring our generation, it's not our parents that are the pencil pushers anymore. It's us.
No.
And so for them to connect with us and resonate with us and retain us and grow us and elevate us, they have to do it in a different way. And I think it's exciting for me to hear that companies are leaning in. So, I'm just proud of what you guys have done. I'm excited for us to learn more about you. But Massi, you kind of just mentioned something that really resonates with me, which is, there are the highs and you alluded to the lows. And I said before this call, Parker and I were having a brainstorming sesh where I'm the pessimist and Parker's the optimist. And I'm like, dude, what the F are we doing? What are we building, man? This doesn't even make sense anymore. And so I want to ask you, as the CEO, how have you handled those ups and downs that come with just running a company?
Yeah, like I think one, I constantly strive to surround myself with good people. I think I work with really, really wonderful people, and I'm proud enough to call them some of my best friends. And similar to what you built in Parker, and maybe you're the realist and Parker's the dreamer, but it's a perfect combination to push the company forward. And I think you try and hire people for all the reasons you aren't. Do you know what I mean? Where I'm not patient. We have a wonderful assistant director, Hannah, who is patient, and you try and hire and surround yourself with people. So in these moments of like, what am I doing? At least you have someone to pick you up, or in these moments where my head's in the clouds, but you have a realist on your team that's going to be like, no, this is what we need to do, and this is the right time. But I think there's no easy way. I think it is lonely at the top sometimes. I would say, like, it really is lonely, and I think you try and safeguard a lot of I would say the stress from your team, because you don't want them to bear that, if it's financial worries or if it's just strategy or anything like that. I think you want to try and shield that, but you also want to bring them into a common mission and kind of motivate them as well. But it's incredibly difficult, and I think people a lot of times will idolize success and idolize everything. And some people, I was naive. You go into this and you're like, these bright lights of running a business, but a lot of people don't talk about the times where it's 2 a.m. and you're tearing your hair out, or you're looking at your next payroll cycle, or whatever it may be that's causing you stress. It's incredibly tough, but those, I think, tough times contribute to how rewarding it can be when something comes off that's right, and you're like, okay, we got the spark here.
Well,
1,000,000%.
Massi, yeah. I appreciate you getting vulnerable there. I do think, like, too, and I can speak from Elevation Nation experience. It's like, if things kept going well, I feel like something bigger is a bigger problem. Like, that's just not how it works, right? You have to go through the lows to get to the highs, and you go through the highs to get to the lows, but you hope that you're still going towards that end goal that you want to get at. But there really is no end goal. Maybe it's a yearly, like,
Parker, that's what makes elevators.
But that's
right?
what I'm saying. Yeah. Exactly.
Massi, like, you're part of this mindset now that I think will resonate with you. Sorry, Parker, to cut you off. No worries. But, like, that's exactly what I think makes us different, to your point, right? Like, we just got off an hour strategy call where I was bitching the entire time saying, what are we doing? When really, like, holy shit, what have we done? Dude, we're about 300 episodes in. We get to talk to Massi tonight. Like, we have incredible network of people. We've spoken around the country now, right? Like,
100%.
But it's so hard sometimes to remember what you've been through and where you've come, because as elevators, we're not like, okay, we've hit this point, we're Gucci, like, all good. No, there's always another floor to hit.
Absolutely. And it's like you're constantly like pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and you're like, when is enough? Or if you don't stop and kind of smell the roses, and if you don't actually look back on a season or a year and really be thankful for what you have, you can get lost in it. You really do. It's like, what, and to your point, is like, there is no real end goal. Do you know what I mean? You want to have a happy life, surround yourself with good people, and try make some money along the way. It's like, but it's a definite trap. It's so easy to get caught up in, where your mindset is, nothing is working, I'm not getting there fast enough. But if you looked a year ago and told yourself back then, hey, I'm here right now, you couldn't be happier, couldn't find a happier guy. But I think it just takes the kind of wherewithal to really pause, be mindful in that moment, and be like, okay, we have done 3 episodes. We've been super, super consistent. We've met all these incredible people. And this is where we hope to be in 2 years.
Hell yeah. Well, hopefully you're not pulling your hair out while you're thinking about all the amazing things that are happening. Or maybe, you pull your hair out, then realize, wow, I should have kept my hair in, because things are going pretty good.
I was going to say, Parker, at least they partner with Paul Mitchell. So if you pull your hair out, they got some hair products out there. That was my joke. True. I was trying to sneak in.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
So, I mean, Massi, we're talking a lot about, business and how we're going about our everyday and our mindset, and how we're elevating, ourselves as we continue to build. But I also think about how important it is in your personal life to make sure that you got all of that in order, so that you can be your best self when you show up to work, or be your best self when you want to build something on the side. So my question to you is, you're the CEO of this company, you're partnering with big companies, you got a lot on your plate. How are you able to still prioritize you?
Yeah, I think it's a conscious effort. I read a line the other day, which was discipline is the greatest form of self-love, and it was essentially the discipline you have for yourself to either go to the gym or eat healthy or go meet that person for coffee or really kind of sit down with your partner and enjoy that night or be present. I think is such an important one. I think if you do not tend to your personal life, your professional life will suffer, and vice versa. I think you can't have it can't be all consuming either way. I think I have a wonderful wife who will pull me out of it. She's in the human rights space, so we'll have a completely different stratosphere of a mindset. As I'm the beating drum of capitalism, does not care and will be and will be more focused on the people and helping people, and I think it's a wonderful perspective for me to have and be in a marriage with. But also, I think it's so important to have the good people around you, the mental breaks, the kind of even simple daily routines, simple daily routines. Go for a run, go watch a movie with somebody, take a break, and then come back to it. And I actually have, I would say, all my best thoughts and ideas running in the mornings. My knee is injured at the minute, so I can't run so much. But the just it's I don't know what it is, but it's almost like when you're not focused on it, you can finally think, and it's the ideas flow.
So one thing to add to that too is I've been on a lot of teams within my full-time job where I've seen my leaders grind. All they do from wake up till they go to bed, grind. We got to crank out this deliverable. We have to do this. We have to do that. And they displayed this way that they think it should be done. And then I had a leader who showed me the complete opposite, who showed me to value my time in a different way, that use your time valuable when you're in meetings. But also, to your point, go for a run if you want to get a little bit of creativity. That is okay. And, maybe it's something of, okay, I need to go walk around or have a bite or go to a cafe to work. Like switching it up has been so important in someone's day and productivity. But I think for me personally, you got to start with you and understand what works for you. I lead my team. I lead a team of team members who I'm like, we have our goals for the day. It doesn't matter what you're doing in that time. We need to be our best self in our best environment so that we can get our best work done. So my question to you, Massi, is there any person who instilled that type of mindset in you, or has it always kind of been something that you led with?
I think I've made a conference. Like, I have worked so much the last couple of years and continue to do so, but I think it is the like mentors I have as well, like Joel and Aaron and Maddie and Mark and people who I have in my life who are kind of founders and partners in the business as well. Really, I think have the work hard, play hard mindset. I think when you go to work, you show up when you work, and when you leave, you leave. But you can be all consuming in both directions. Do you know what I mean? You can really focus on your personal life and develop those relationships and have those breaks. But when you show up and you work, you really work. And I also think it's a bit of the Irish mindset. Ireland is a completely kind of different work style. It's like when you kind of are in a different company, a different country, and you look at the US. The US is crazy with work hours, with like maternity and paternity leave. It's like in a different stratosphere to any other country, but it's one of the wealthiest and most successful and absolutely. But there is also other ends of the spectrum and different ways it can work. And I think having those perspectives is good, because sometimes you can just get lost in it. You really can. You can completely and utterly get lost in work. And in a lot of companies it's rewarded. It's like, hey, work through your weekends, work till 9 p.m., do what you need to do. Don't sleep, commit those nights, lose all the friends, and you'll make it.
Massi, where I've struggled personally is I don't feel that drive for my full-time job, because it's a huge company. I know I can get the work done and work hard, and some nights I have to work late, and some days I have to travel. But I know for the most part, knock on wood, I can get stuff done. where I struggle is when I go, man, if I just worked till 3 a.m. with Parker every night on this company, we would be so much further. We'd be at 600 episodes. We'd be speaking at schools internationally, not just in the U.S., right? Like, and because it's my passion project and because I love it so much and I want to see it succeed, there's this consistent guilt that I can never really turn it off. And so I hear you that the U.S. has this really backwards mindset when it comes to work hours, but I'm curious if that has crept in with you being a co-founder and a CEO, of you feeling that guilt of like, well, I can always be working more on things. There's always something to do.
Oh, absolutely. I'm probably the worst example of like someone who will commit everything to. I think it's, but I think that is also, I think if it's a labor of love and if it's something that is truly, truly like a passion project, that it's like, I'm going to really want to create something here that will last 10 plus years and inspire hundreds of people, and you run 100 events, and it's something that will kind of stand the test of time. It is worth it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is worth putting in those hours and really kind of committing to it. Um, and I think you can do that and have a personal life, and you can travel, and you can, like, you could, both are true. And I think it's with young people today who are kind of going into college and leaving college. I think that mindset is switching more, and I think is kind of slowly creeping into society where like work-life balance is important, the importance of family, and people can be super interested in their passion projects and build companies and go out there and be confident and get it done as well, but not be in a white collar suit and not be in the 10th story of Bryant Park. Do you know what I mean? Both can be true.
Yeah, totally. Well, if we're talking mental fortitude, Sam and I love talking mental fortitude. You could take mental fortitude in the job. It's the mental fortitude to work hard, continue to work, knowing that there's success on the other end of all those hours, all those days, all those sleepless nights. But then I think what's even more important is having the mental fortitude to say, you know what? I'm putting this down and I'm going to go for a walk because that's more important for me and my health. I'm going to go hang out with my fiance on this Tuesday evening knowing that I have a ton of work that I do. But you know what? My relationship with my fiance is that much more important than anything I'm doing in my job. That takes mental fortitude too. Mm-hmm. And I think what Sam and I have found is when young people start to realize that and understand who they are, what they want, and what fuels them or inspires them, and live their life each day with those three things in mind, they have mental fortitude to spend those extra hours at work when they need to be done, or go for that walk with the significant other when it needs to be done, but it doesn't need to be done. JJ, it's not a need. It's a want. It's a love right there. But that's what elevating is all about.
I think it's like, I really do think it's a wonderful message you preach. And I think it's one that's often overlooked by people. And I think there's this grand, when you look at the education system and into college, it just pushes people in directions that I don't know if they entirely want to be in. They don't have enough prep. There's not enough like focus on what you actually want to do. Okay, great. How do we get you there? And I think everyone should be encouraged to try and create something or gain ownership in something, or like push themselves to do a passion project. And like you both have fantastic jobs in consultancy, I believe. And on this, you're doing this on the side, that is a busy enough job not to do this, but you find the time, the hours, and push, and you can do it. Do you know what I mean? And you've proved you can do it, but people probably will think you're crazy. Do you know what I mean? But it's a labor of love, and you've had the kind of mental fortitude, as you say, to push yourselves and do it, and it's incredible accomplishment. But I think young people really benefit from that message that it is possible, that you can push yourself, and then slowly maybe your passion project becomes your full-time thing, and it's wonderful. But I think there isn't an awful lot of direction for young people today going into university or past it into their jobs. Like I really think there's a huge opportunity to inspire. And I think you guys are filling an incredible gap there as well.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things that we're trying to work on is university teaches you a lot of things, but they're prepping you to be a pencil pusher in a job, right? Not that that's a bad thing. Some people, that's what they love to do, right? The consistency, the steadiness of a 9 to 5 and a consistent paycheck is what they need. But for some people, they see that they need a little more and they need to elevate in different ways. And I think Parker and I are just trying to share stories like yours of folks doing things a little bit differently. And so I wanted to ask you, because you kind of did just hit on this, Massi, before we move on to our next section of rapid fire questions. But I wanted to bring up, when Parker and I first started Elevation Nation, people did think we were crazy. You mentioned, people probably think you're crazy doing this while working. I wish I could say it was a 9 to 5 in consulting, but whatever the hours are in consulting, right? They thought we were crazy. Not only did they think we were crazy, they talked shit, right? We had friends, people, kids we went to school with, older, younger, adults, go, what are these guys doing? Not only like, oh, they're going to be too busy, but like, who do they think they are hopping behind a mic? Who do they think they are trying to start a business? They have no experience. They don't know mental fortitude. And now those same people are the ones that send us emails saying, you guys have built this amazing thing. Are you doing it full time? Like, how are you paying your bills? Like, do you need help? Right? Like, and so I'm curious for you, has that kind of full circle moment happened for you where when you first started, people probably thought you were maybe a little bit crazy, but I think it's a good idea, right? Like, has that full circle moment happened for you yet?
I think it happens for me, but more. I think it happens for me, but more internally is what I would say. I think like you have this imposter syndrome, and I have it so much. I think where you're just like, I don't deserve to work with these clients, or I shouldn't be here, or whatever reasons you have in your head, or like, how have I pulled the wool over people's eyes for this long that I'm doing this? You know what I mean? It's this this thing you constantly are trying to reconcile with and battle with. But I think the more you do it, the more you're kind of reassured by, okay, this is something that works. And but it takes a lot. Like, that's, I think, the biggest preventative for people is that they don't ask, or they don't do, or they're not pushing themselves to do it. And I think I really do think mentorship is so important. If anyone's listened to this and anything that you take away from this, I have incredible mentors with my like I spoke about Joel and Lauren earlier. I was so green, so green from even just sitting down, like, this is how you actually construct an email that's legible. It's not where someone can read. You know what I mean? This is like basics of fundamentals of business, or how you should speak to your staff or lead your staff, or like, I think having someone that's some kind of mentorship that can push you in these exactly what you're doing. If you think you're building a mentorship program for young people and you're using elevators to propel your message, like, I think it's incredibly smart, because you're going to have young people that will listen to this and say, I can do this. Look at this person, and this person who either ignored the haters or didn't take no for an answer. And I think it's a great full circle moment that people are banging down your doors, and emailing you. I think it's brilliant, and it shows
amazing.
A testament to how good of a job you've done.
By the way, Sam, I think you're crazy. I think we're crazy. Like, come on, I'm not the only. Other people think it. I think you're crazy too. It's okay.
I love being crazy, dude.
I mean,
wouldn't
you
want
go
it any
into
other
a boxing
way.
gym every morning, and you get
which, by the way,
you're willing to
I
get
did
punched
not-
in the face, which I think you're crazy about.
Have you guys noticed this? I didn't notice this all day on calls, but the light, now that it's dark, I got absolutely cranked in the face today.
Yeah. So you're crazy.
Not good.
I would not be up for that. I'm more of let's play basketball, and if a punch gets thrown, that's how it goes. Massi, to your last thing on that point is, we call that, your mentors at Elevation Nation, we call that your board of inspirers. It's not your board of directors. It's your board of inspirers, the people in your life who provide you that perspective that you need. And what's beautiful about the board of inspirers, it doesn't have to be people that you necessarily know or talk with every day. It can be that person on TikTok who inspires you. It can be that person at the cafe that you see every day who, is showing up in a way that you want to be. You have to look for those people and acknowledge them and appreciate them and learn from them. And if you have the opportunity, of course, thank them. So let's get to that next section, that rapid fire. We got a couple for you, Massi, and then we're going to round it out with our favorite section, the mental motto. All right, first one. If I left you at Camp IHC for one day and you could only do one activity the entire day, what is that activity and why?
I would play pickleball. I have a wonderful partner in Susie, and I would play down there for a couple hours.
Love it.
I don't think we're gonna have to wait for you to go back to camp, Massi. When we grab a beer or get coffee, bring your paddle. There's courts right near me down in the wharf. One-on-one. Let's go, bro.
Well,
I'm ready.
I need to add that Sam and I have never played pickleball. He plays a lot more than me. I still think I can beat him easy.
I think that's the wonder. I think anyone has a fighter's chance with pickleball. I think
I love it. Parker, talk so much shit. Like, keep it coming. I'm going to go back every episode that you've talked shit saying you can beat me in pickleball. I'm going to clip it. And when I kick your ass, I'm going to make like a montage.
I mean, because it's not going to happen. So the montage is never going to be created. Wait. It's never going to get shared with the nation. Like nothing, like it's just not because you're going to be so surprised.
Yeah. We'll see about that. All right. Next rapid fire. You mentioned at the beginning, you have a little bit of an accent. You didn't grow up here in the U.S., but you've been here for a while now. What's one thing about the U.S. that you love, and what's one thing that you hate?
One thing I love the drive. I love the energy. I said, like, I don't think there's something about New York City and DC and the US that they call it the American dream for us Irish. I do think it's honestly true. And I think, it's people joke about it, but there's a genuine energy, a genuine enthusiasm, a genuine understanding and drive to Americans that I love. I really do. I think it's authentic as well. It's from meeting you guys to getting a coffee in the morning or anything like that. There is a positivity, this genuine energy that I love in Americans, and yeah, I think it's incredible.
What's the thing that ticks you off?
The thing that ticks me off is probably the driving. There's no need to. That horn is just. I don't know if it's meant to be used in the way New Yorkers use it. I don't think anywhere else in the world uses it the way New Yorkers use it. It's almost like a hello and F off. I get moving. It's incredible use of it. But I remember like hearing it for. I'm like, is that guy gonna hop out and fight this guy? And he's like, no. It's just like they're just like saying hello or something. It's mad. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Love it. Yeah, I hear it almost every day because I live Upper West Side. It's gotten better from where I previously lived. But I'll be honest, the craziest place that Sam and I ever went in the world was Shanghai. And we got into a cab and I thought the drivers here were crazy. The drivers there are absolutely nuts. But what's crazy is I don't know how they don't get into crashes. It is absolutely, it was the scariest thing ever to get into a car in Shanghai. Absolutely love China, but the driving there is just not for me at all. All right, last one, Massi. Sam and I read a ton. We're always reading. We do ask every single person who's come on the podcast this question. So what's your book recommendation for Elevation Nation?
I'll give you a super boring one that I'm reading at the minute, but it might, if you are someone who's looking at how to win friends and influence people, and then the second one would be profits first, and that's the boring one. The boring one, and that's my recommendation, but it's a different way of thinking about how to run a business where instead of sales minus expenses equal profit, it's profit minus sales equals expenses. So it's really just all about taking your sales out first and then building your budget around it and all this kind of ethos. But it's a wonderful tale of just just realistic business anecdotes of a ton of people failing, a ton of people messing up, a ton of people not knowing what to do. And I think it's just the humility in, okay, you're not alone, and there's so many people making all these kind of mistakes and all these kind of things. So I really enjoyed it. So profits first.
It certainly helps when you realize, oh, I'm not the only one going through this imposter syndrome or not knowing what the hell is going on with American taxes which
Oh my
running a
God.
company and being a human, filing those, like so many
Or
things come with
healthcare.
business.
Healthcare.
Or
That should have been my
healthcare.
answer instead
Yeah.
of horns. Actually, is
Yeah.
American healthcare. Oh my God.
Yeah. Makes no sense. Very confusing. All
Yeah,
right.
show up to the doctor, yeah, not have no idea how much this is going to cost,
Yeah.
why, until you receive the bill and you're like, "Yep,
Yeah.
this is not fun."
I've generally reconciled the idea of if I get injured, just booking a plane ticket home to Ireland and just
Way cheaper.
just
Way cheaper.
and just riding it out on the home,
Your
get
wife's
fixed and
like
come back.
dragging you into this plane, like throwing you in a seat. You're going to make it worth it. I love it. All right.
Absolutely.
Massi, our last segment, one that we hold near and dear to our hearts. It unites every elevator who you're about to join the nation, a nation of over 150 strong across the world, from professional athletes to CEOs of companies to yogis in Bali to everything in between. We're really excited to welcome you, but this is your final test. This is your hazing process to get in. We ask every elevator what their mental motto is, and that's a phrase that you live your life by. So, Massimo Austin, what is your mental motto?
My minimal. I had to think about this today, and I think in those moments where you have the imposter syndrome, or you're thinking you're crazy, or you have no confidence, I always look at this situation. I'm like, Massi, are you good with the worst outcome? Can you go on this podcast right now and bomb, and your connection dies and your dog starts barking? Am I okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'll tell Parker I'm sorry, and I'll make it up to Sam being in pickleball. But I constantly remind myself, Matt, are you? And I think to myself, the worst outcome that could possibly happen. I'm like, are you good with that? And if I'm really not good with it, I'm like, okay, maybe that's my barometer. I'm not going to do it. But I constantly remind myself just not to be afraid, not to let any kind of anxious energy just take over, and be okay with the worst outcome. And then anything is up from that point. So that's what I constantly kind of think to myself. Yeah. So I don't know if that's valuable to anybody or if anyone is like overthink or anything, but
I think
I
that's
constantly tell
amazing.
myself that.
I will say we've asked a lot of people this question. I don't think we've ever got a question back as their motto. And I think it's amazing. I think it's brilliant because you can remind yourself with that question every day, and any decision that you make, are you good with the worst outcome? And to your point, if you are not good with it, you won't go forward with it. And I think it's an incredible thing. I think it's a really good grounding device to help you think through, whether it's at work, whether in life, whatever. Love it. I absolutely love it. Massi, it's been 47 minutes somehow. Crazy how it flies. It always flies by, the podcast. But I got to say, I know it was your first. You are, without a doubt, very good. You've been a very good guest. We're very happy and grateful to have had you. And I just got to say, it's really special to be able to connect with someone from camp, but also to see making an impact in the world of work and what you guys are doing at Allaway. I truly believe the world needs more of, because there are many, many people out there in the world who are working and don't feel connected to their coworkers, don't feel connected to their company's mission. And as a result of that, I'm not saying it's correlated, but mental health challenges with all that, I think, is also an outcome of some of that. And so what you guys are doing is not only beneficial to companies, but it is more importantly special to those individuals, so that they can feel more connected to whomever they're dealing with or working with on any given day. So what can I say? I'm thankful, man. Grateful that you came and joined us.
I really appreciate it. It was a wonderful conversation. You don't often sit down with people and speak for an hour, so I think it's great. I also am a huge fan. I think I would have benefited, and I still benefit. I've now started listening and kind of sharing, and I think it's so commendable what you both have built. I think the consistency is incredible. I think, and I'd love to be kind of part of future conversations around how we can bring everybody together, how we can do it in a way that our team can help support, and anything we can do to kind of continue to build that community, help onboard others. And yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Elevation Nation, until next week. Peace.